So I am Joshua Pesce. I'm here with Deb Stilligros, and we're just going to try to show everybody a very quick vibe coding experience. Deb had this great idea. We're going to try to make these wheels of fortune. We have an article that Deb wrote that we'll put in the comments, and let's get started. Deb, anything you want to say before we jump in?
No, I can't wait. Other than it's AI, so I can't wait to see what comes up because, of course, it's unpredictable. So strap them on. Here we go, Joshua.
Here we go. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And first, I'll share our little. So Deb and I took a little bit of time to make product requirements, which is basically, you don't have to do this, but we thought if we had the same set of requirements, you could see what two different vibe coding applications produce from the same prompt. So we're going to try to make a wheel spinner, and we've got these requirements here. We'll share these in the chat too, so you can go ahead and grab them. So I'm just copying that, and now I'm going to share my Claude Code window. So just to set up my platform, I am not a coder. I am not someone with a development background, but I am able to now make applications like this. The platform I'm using is what's called an IDE, or an integrated development environment. Very fancy term, don't worry about it. It's called VS Code, Visual Studio Code. Most people call it VS Code. It's free. You can download it for Mac or Windows. And then it integrates with my Claude account, and I'm using the Vibe application that I'm technically using is Claude Code. Deb is going to be using a platform called Replit, which I would say is easier if you're just getting started with this kind of thing, and you'll see that when Deb goes into her. So all I'm going to do is paste this in. You'll notice that instead of showing text, because it's an IDE, it just says I pasted in the 41 lines, and I'm going to hit enter, and my Claude Code is going to start running. Now, this part's kind of boring. We can watch it, and it'll, show us it burning through all of my tokens. Don't worry, I pay a lot of money for Claude Code, so it should work fine. And it actually creates a project plan for itself, a bunch of to-dos. So you can watch this, but it's not terribly exciting. And periodically, I'll have to interact with it. It'll ask me a question. I'll have to tell it yes or no, or go ahead and proceed. It's never complicated questions. So while it's doing that, all right, I'm going to let Deb take over the screen share, and she's going to show you Replit. So Deb, are you ready with that?
Absolutely. So let me
Oh,
share my screen. And as Joshua said, I'm in Replit, and that's an app that allows you to create a free account, by the way, and gives you a limited number of credits. And in Replit, you can build apps. So what Joshua and I are doing are giving a contrast, two ways to do the same thing. So in Replit, I'm already logged into my account, and it has an agent that helps you to build things. So here in the middle box, I'm going to paste from my clipboard that product requirement prompt that Joshua used, same one, and I'm going to click Start Building. So when I click that, Replit is going to do what Claude Code is doing now on Joshua's computer, which is to read through the prompt about our wheel and then decide how to build it. I'm not coding it. I just am taking the requirements and putting it in and saying, hey, Replit, show me your stuff. So here we go. And sort of as Joshua alluded, this is the part that's not all that exciting. So down at the bottom here, Replit is telling me it's working. And then in the middle, it's putting a project plan together, and it'll kind of narrate what it's doing. A little bit better than having a new software dev or intern go disappear for a week or two. But I don't really need to know much about how it's doing things. I'm just interested to see, okay, what's it up to? And that's about as exciting as it gets.
and mine is ready. So it has created it. And just to give everybody an update, I'm actually going to have Claude continue doing other things, but my Wheel of Fortune is made. It is here. I haven't even tried to use it yet. So it says spin the wheel of destiny, which is great because I have a beloved colleague named Destiny. So I will click spin or space or enter to discover my fate. So I will spin. Nice little sound effect. I don't know if people can hear that. And Mason won, and you can see that Sophia actually won, but Mason came up. So that's a little bug that I would have to go vibe code and tell it, hey, it's not actually determining the winner. And actually, the arrow, I would love to have the little clicky wheel of fortune kind of effect and make sure that it stops between where the arrow is. So I'm just going to literally write that in plain English to my coding app and ask it to make those changes and see if we can do that. All right, so let me go back over to my Vibe coding app, which is doing some other things, and I'm gonna use my voice to do this just very quickly. Couple of problems with the application. Number one, it provided a different winner than the winner who actually showed up where the arrow was pointing. Number two, the arrow doesn't actually intersect with the wheel, so it's hard to see who won. I would love to have a Wheel of Fortune style clicking action as the wheel spins and then slows down. And so that it's very clear who won, and then make sure that the declared winner is the one that matches where the arrow is pointing. All right, so I have a thing on my computer that allows me to talk to it. I literally just spoke to my computer, gave it those feedback. I'm going to put that in, and the way Claude Code works is it just queues that up. So it will, when it's finished doing these other things that I'm asking it to do, it will go ahead and attempt to execute those updates. Deb, how are things going on your side? Does Replit have an application for us to take a look at yet?
It's still working. And one of the things about these apps is that while they're working, they'll narrate a bit about what they're doing, but largely it's a waiting activity. I've been working with Replit for maybe a month or two on and off, and I'll just mention that I moved recently, and while I was packing my house, which I hate, I absolutely hate, I would have fun and go over to Replit and talk to it for maybe a minute or two and tell it to do some more with the app I was building. And then while it was working on my app, I went over and packed more dishes from the kitchen and stuff like that, which I did not like. Uh, and Replit is back, so let me share my screen and show you what we have. The background is doing neon types of things. We have a wheel now. The pointer pointing up is very weird, but okay. And I'm going to spin the wheel. And it's spinning a little slowly, and then it's got some kind of thing that's like confetti dropping.
I like that
Maybe
my name's
somewhere,
right
oh, at
there.
the bottom, it's got Jessica. Joshua, it's got Jessica. So
I know,
somehow
me
it
and
picked
Deb.
Jessica. Uh, yeah, but I'm going to say that we have some work to do with the Replit version as well. But that gives you the basic idea of taking the product requirements, the prompt that we both pasted in to get things started, seeing something, and that's the beginning of a conversation with your app to make things better. So Joshua, maybe let's go back over to Claude Code where you are and see how the improvements came to yours, because I think Replit and I have a fair amount of work to do.
So I'm going to take just a brief pause to show a different thing, which is GitHub. So GitHub is a code repository platform, and don't get all intimidated by that if you've never encountered it. It's a free service. It's owned by Microsoft now, but doesn't really feel like a Microsoft product in any way. And one of the things about vibe coding is it's nice to have a place to store your code so that if you want to go back and change it or do something with it, it's backed up somewhere. And I've heard certainly stories of people doing a bunch of vibe coding and then they lose it, and then all that work is lost. So you can integrate these platforms, Replit or Claude Code or all these other ones with GitHub, and basically just give them the command at any point, please create a GitHub repository of this. And what's really, really nice about these tools is not only will they create a repository, but they generate, GitHub has what's called a README, which is an explainer of the application and how it works and all those other things. And look at, I mean, what did we start 10, 15 minutes ago? Not only do we have a working application, or at least a semi-working application, but now we have an entire code repository on GitHub that I could share with Deb or anybody else, and total documentation about what the application is, how it works, if someone wants to make their own copy and work on it, all right here. And now, it doesn't matter if I delete it off my local system, I have this GitHub repository forever. So I want to really recommend that even if you're a little intimidated, create yourself a GitHub account, connect it to your vibe coding tool, and start making repositories for your applications and getting used to that. It really helps. So I can see live demo, try live here.
So yes, there it is. So you guys watching this may not be able to tell which of these was Joshua's computer and which was mine, but I assert to you, I just clicked on the link that Joshua gave me, and I am able to spin his Wheel of Destiny. Way cool.
And yours actually looks like it has the clicker. Can you try to spin it and see if maybe mine just had a
Oh,
refresh? Mine might
let's.
have been a cached version because yours looks better.
It does.
And is it
Emma,
making the clicky noises?
Emma wins. Aha! I'm glad we did this, Joshua. So yes,
So it's fixed. So mine just wasn't updated yet. So it did. Yeah. And now mine actually shows. So I just hadn't waited long enough. Mine now has, you notice that because I noticed your arrow is red, not white.
yeah.
And I was like, that's interesting. But the click does not work, unfortunately. But I can hit enter. I hear the spinning noise. Oh, Oliver won, but close. It definitely was close. Sophia almost won. So it's a little off, but we're definitely much, much better. All right.
Cool.
Deb, this was a blast. Thanks for doing this with me. We'll come back. We're going to make another application for folks. It'll be a little bit more complex and maybe a little bit more practical for the nonprofit workforce next time. But we'll keep it, we're going to build these slowly, right, Deb? So.
Very fun, and I love it. Thanks, Joshua.